Welcome, friends. My name is Avinash Gorakshakar, and I welcome all of you to another interesting episode of Connexia High Flyers. Friends, in these episodes, we make it a point to talk to emerging companies from emerging sectors, and we talk to the promoters, the top managements of such companies, which helps us understand their company's business model, their growth journey, their future growth plans. And in this process, investors get a lot of valuable information from the company's top management and promoters. And friends, today we are going to talk about another interesting company which is going to hit the capital market very soon. The company's name is Methodhub Software Limited. And we have the privilege of having the Executive Director and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Ahobilam Nagasundaram. Sir, welcome to the show. And we also have Mr. Shankar Krishnan, who's the financial advisor to the company. Shankar sir, welcome to you also. Sir, first question, which is very elementary. If you could tell us something about the broad business model of our company, what is the positioning of our company in the markets in which we cater, and sir, how did this business journey start? If you could tell us something about your business journey, how did you all start this business and take it up to this level, sir? Please, if you can share your thoughts.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Avinash. Methodhub is a software services company which focuses on data services, cloud services, ERP, CRM services, and cybersecurity. As a company, we've been in business for over 6 years, and we have been very actively building our capability on the offshore model, try to move work offshore. Now, as a company, in terms of background, we started originally as a consulting RPO services, consulting services company, and slowly pivoted to doing more and more services offshore. So there has been a significant gradual process capability improvement, etc., to be able to do larger work, more complex work as the time has gone by. We have the primary company here is Methodhub Software Limited. We have a subsidiary called Methodhub Consulting Inc. And then we have a step subsidiary called Zotech Solutions Canada, and then one more subsidiary called Zotech Solutions US. Together, this forms the company, the group of companies or the set of companies for which Methodhub Software Limited is the primary company which is going for the IPO. In terms of business, we focus on banking, financial services and insurance, healthcare, oil and gas, and telecom and tech infra. And between these sectors, these are all IT, not typically IT spend sectors. And in the technology, if you look at it, cloud, data, AI, ERP, CRM, and cybersecurity, again, most of the current IT spend is in these areas. Up to 80-85% of the current IT spend of most enterprise companies is in these areas. So that's what makes us feel good about our prospects. We operate in very hot areas of business. Of course, we compete with large players depending on the customer, depending on the verticals we operate. We compete with different people, but we have always built our company in such a way that we can compete with some of the big names. One of the major differentiations between us and a large company would be the area of certifications and compliances with which a large enterprise customer would feel comfortable dealing with us. We have gone a long way in that for a small company. We've got we are an ISO 9001, IS 27001, SOC 2 Type 2 certified company. We are also a great place to work certified company. We are also in the process, currently happening, we are in the process of getting HIPAA certified. So HIPAA certification will make us a little more viable for healthcare customers to work with us. So in a nutshell, our ability to compete with large players through significant serious investments in process, in compliances, etc., is what make me feel very good about our prospects for the future.
Okay. Sir, we just wanted to know who are your key channel partners, if you could tell us, and how many distributors does the company currently work with?
We do not have an indirect sales model. We work directly with our customers. We are engaged with our customers directly. In some cases, the customers could be indirect in the sense that they could be system integrators. Okay, but that is a small percentage of our overall business. We do most of our business directly, and we do not have resellers because we are not a product company. We are more a services company.
Okay. Sir, just one question on the pricing, sir. Depending upon the quality of work and the volume of work you do for the client, sir, how is pricing decided? Is it dynamic or is it customized? If you could please tell us.
Services are typically driven by the input costs that we have. Okay, it's almost like a cost plus kind of a pricing in most of the situations. But overall, the human resource costs are a significant part of our overall cost. Something like 70%, 75% of our work overall component could be human resource component. So that's where the price gets determined
Okay.
primarily. It is not a one answer for that. There are
Yeah, yeah.
in Canada the pricing model, the pricing margins are different. US different. We do work from offshore because we leverage offshore process maturity. The margins are a little higher, but on
Okay.
average, it is more, almost like what price is viable to do business in, and that is typically a 30% kind of a markup on the resource cost.
Okay, okay, understood. Sir, just wanted to understand that, in our space, for example, the work which we do, are there any comparable peers for us in both the listed and unlisted category? I mean, who would be our nearest, peers in the industry? If you could please tell us.
Um, Typical mid-sized companies would be peers in the industry. There are a few listed in the RHP. These are the typical companies, about companies in the global size of about 30 million or so would be peers in the industry.
Okay, okay, understood. And sir, just one thing I wanted to understand is in qualitative terms, what is it that we add value to the customers, kind of business, like typically financials apart, but in terms of service, in terms of deliverables, in terms of the quality of work you do, sir, what could be the highlights for you in terms of your qualitative positives? If you could share one or two points for us.
So, see, we are a very human resource intensive business. Okay, still, though, as much as we use technology, we render it through people. So, our biggest ability or differentiator is our ability to understand the customer context. I have a very slogan inside the company. Content is something, context is everything. You can say 100% fact, but you say it in the wrong place, it will be counterproductive in most situations. So you have to
Exactly.
understand customer context well, and that is something which is a better. We put a lot of emphasis on now, number one, customer context. Number two, ability to hire quickly, ability to train, deploy quickly, and
Yeah.
ability to have enough branding to attract the best of talent and
Okay.
retain good talent. Okay, so we have done a lot of things in the past which have given us enough branding and enough. We have also have a very strong social media presence, etc. All these have helped
Okay.
us hire better and retain better. And for a typical services company, how we do these things in in compliance and consistency is what is the differentiator.
Okay. So I think very nicely said. Sir, just one small information which I wanted. How many employees would be having on board currently? Like,
About 295 employees, 295, 96.
okay,
We have
okay.
we
Both
also have
India.
contractors we don't account, but
Yeah.
these are employees.
So these are total employees across India and abroad, whatever centers you have got, right?
Correct,
Okay.
correct.
Acha, now, Shankar sir, a little bit of questioning on the financial side for you. If you could tell us, sir, what has been the financial performance for the company in FY25 and for the first half of FY26? If you could share the data points for us.
I think from 2023 onwards, we have been growing quite rapidly, organically into various verticals as well as into technology areas. And with the geographical penetration that we have done, we have grown the 2024 from 57 crores to about 134 crores in 2025. And in the first half of 6 months for this current fiscal, we are closing with about 79 crore plus in terms of the revenue, with an 18.5% EBITDA and about 10.3 crores as the PAT, with a good 12% plus PAT margin is what we have
Okay.
grown. So if you go
Okay.
by the growth numbers, I think we have significantly grown in terms of CAGR in the last fiscal, and it augurs well based on the current order book position that we have reflected in the red herring prospectus. The
Okay.
couple of years that are down the line is very well
Yeah.
covered in terms of our growth plans.
Okay. And I think very nice to hear that, Shankar sir. Sir, tell me one thing now, since we already have crossed, November, now we are in the month of December, without giving a number, Shankar sir, what is the kind of outlook we can share, for the full year? That is, can we expect FY26 to be another strong year for the company as compared to last year? That is FY25. In a
So
descriptive way, if you can tell us.
going by the last 3 years fiscal performance and strong performance in the first half year, and taking into account the order book position reflected in the RHP, I think the company is extremely confident that it will be able to notch up the same level of CAGR growth that we have been showing
Okay.
in the earlier years. I think that's the
Okay.
best way to put it.
Yeah, no, I think well taken. Sir, normally what's the working capital cycle in our business like?
Sir, we used to have a little higher working capital till about last year in terms of the telecom and tech infra projects, almost
Yeah.
about 150 days cycle kind of. We have been able to bring them down with more penetration in the IT services area and less dependence on the tech infra area to closer to about 90 to 100 days is what we are projecting going forward.
Okay, fine. Sir, one question to you, Mr. Abil Loman. Sir, can you tell us how important and strategic AI is in our overall product basket? Because AI is now the buzzword. So, what exactly do we do for AI? Do we add value to the customers by using AI as a kind of a strategic tool? Sir, if you could please tell your thoughts.
Yes. So AI is now inevitable. It is already in. It's already here. It's there to stay. So we have moved from prototypes to serious projects in AI. There are a couple of projects which are very, very far-reaching technology frontier kind of work we are doing for a couple of our customers. We also insist that we do use AI in all our work. Okay, to increase productivity. For example, proposal writing, significant amount in presentation preparation, so many other things which support functions also. We have seen how much of AI can be brought in to make a difference. So to summarize, we do AI work both as in customer facing AI work and also internal AI work to increase overall productivity.
Okay, okay, understood. Sir, Shankar sir, now most important question for today is, we are going public, so it's a big compliment for the company's management. Yeah, the hard work has been paying off. Sir, tell me how much money are we planning to raise from the markets, and what is this money primarily going to be used for?
So the total issue size planned as per the RHP is about 102.50 crores, out of which 87.5 crores will be primary to the company and 15 crores under OFS to a long-standing financial investor who have stayed invested in the company from 2020 onwards, ever since the dream flow started. And this
Okay,
102.5 crores would constitute about 28.02% in terms of the post-IPO dilution. And
okay,
out of the 87.5 crores, about 136 million or 13.6 crores is earmarked for repayment of the debt, trying to make the company basically debt free, and which will also enable the FD collateralization of 10 crores to be released by the banks, which will enable
okay,
in our remaining objects to be fulfilled in terms of the acquisition of companies under GCP, etc. And
okay,
the second aspect is going to be about 250 million, which is 25 crores, is earmarked for augmenting the working capital, strengthening the working capital of the company. The third
okay,
would be a very small portion of about 4 crores is being earmarked towards the working capital for our overseas subsidiary. And the remaining money, which will be very close to and less than 35%, is earmarked under the GCP and unidentified acquisitions.
okay.
That's how the whole objects of the issue is framed.
Okay, and I think nice to hear that. Sir, just one more question, without, of course, giving names. When it comes to acquisitions, do you think inorganic acquisitions are going to be the next trigger of growth for us? Like, if you could please, tell us something on this, without disclosing the names, but I believe some groundwork must have already been done by you. So, sir, will inorganic acquisitions give you that next leg of growth in the next, say, 2 to 3 years?
We are looking at growing both ways, organic and inorganic. We have added Salesforce in the US, India, and also in Canada, which we expect to be productive, going forward. So organic will be a significant growth driver. Inorganic also will equally contribute, and we expect both to contribute equally as we grow forward.
Organic is
Yeah.
going to play also a very important role in the runway going ahead. Sir, last question for today. Sir, normally, in our business, what is the most important risk? Is it technology risk, or is it some other risk which, the company always has to keep its self on its toes? Sir, how have you managed to control the business risk in our business, in such a good way? If you could please tell us.
The first thing is that we moved away from one of the single biggest risks for software companies like us, immigration risk. immigration laws, etc., which impact all companies significantly. We have moved away significantly from immigration risk. Also, the portfolio in our basket. I mean, the portfolio we have, their components, that is the US component, the Canadian component, and the India component, are reasonably neutralizing each other in terms of effect. Okay, but if there is a global slowdown, etc., see, I'm only going to address risks which are very specific to us as a company, not what is macro and what is endemic to all software companies. I'm not going to address that. That we all will face. But from our company perspective, immigration risk has been addressed fairly reasonably well, and also the currency risk has been also reasonably been addressed well by the diversity in geography of the business. Also, sector-wise, five different sectors, and we are adding automotive as one more sector, which will diversify automotive, sectoral risk. Technology risk, we are operating in the hottest places of business. About 80-85% of today's IT spend is there. So I think we have a reasonable handle on almost all the risk aspects as we see it and know it.
No, I think very nice to hear, sir. I think Shankar sir and Ahobilam sir, it was my pleasure to host you. And sir, thank you very much for your valuable time. Best wishes from me to you and your entire management team, and best wishes for your public issue also. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.